Welcome to the BXG Podcast, the podcast where pop culture and nerd culture meet.
You think it's just going to be barbecue sauce?
Because if you actually read those books, it's just gobbledygook.
I really think clothes should be mandatory.
Speaking of Star Wars,
Captain America.
trailer reaction video. Oh, excuse me. Game of the year. Recognizing a game that delivers the absolute best experience across all creative and technical fields. And the nominees are A Plague Tale Requiem, Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, Stray, Xenoblade Chronicles 3. One of these things is not like the others.
What is Stray doing on there? Why? I mean, honestly, I would have been more okay with Stray being off that list and put Call of Duty in there.
Shredder's Revenge.
I mean, I'm just saying, I don't understand. Yeah, Stray was good. It was a good game.
Was it?
For sure. Sure. Yeah, for what it was fun. It was what? A 5-hour game? 8-hour game, maybe? For what it is, it was fun. Cat simulator, you're walking around in a cyberpunk-ish kind of world. It was fun. But is it game of the year worthy?
No.
Stray's like a nice weekend thing. You knock it out, don't think much else of it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Xenoblade Chronicles 3, it's more like if you played one Xenoblade Chronicles, you played them all. They're all the same. I mean, to me, they are. Horizon, we talked about that plenty in our Sony power rankings. Check that out on the YouTube and on the podcast. And then A Plague Tale Requiem, I did play a bit of that. I haven't played all the way through it because it is on Game Pass TM, and it's good. It's good. Is it breaking down barriers? No, but it's definitely worth. But
it's got rat physics.
Yeah, I mean, rat physics are hot. The way they scurry all over you. Yeah, it's kind of... let me turn down the lighting here if we're going to talk about... Anyway.
Talk about rat simulators.
So, I mean...
The rats of us?
I think it's pretty safe to say Elden Ring, God of War, right? I mean, is that the boat you're in?
Yeah, I think those are the two. Yeah.
So, I mean, which way are you leaning? I feel like I know where you're going to go. Pony it up, baby. Pony it up. You know you want to. Ride that horse. You're a liar. You're a liar.
No.
Okay, why? Okay, color me shocked. Why? Explain to me, sir, why Elden Ring is better than God of War.
Better and Game of the Year are two different things.
Okay. God of War, as of this recording, is the fastest selling first party Sony title of all time.
Correct. That is true.
Okay.
Elden Ring has charted every month since it debuted, with the exception of October. Elden Ring, the buzz behind that game, you couldn't get away from it. And there were people who didn't even know what Dark Souls was playing this game. You had the whole George Martin tie-in thing that we talked about on one of our other shows. And I think that from everything I've heard, because this is the other thing, I'm saying this and I haven't played Elden Ring. Okay.
Wow.
That's why
balls.
But here's the thing is that's part of the reason why I feel confident in saying that this is, I don't know if this is a vote, a prediction, maybe a little bit of both, but God of War or a Sony exclusive or a Modern Warfare or Call of Duty or any of these other big franchises are like low-hanging fruit. And I think that from everything I heard about Elden Ring, it's the most accessible of all the Souls-like games, if you want to count. And I mean the FromSoft games, not any of the cheap ripoffs, right? Demon Souls, the Dark Souls trilogy, Bloodborne, Sekiro, Elden Ring.
Your main line.
Yeah. I'm not talking about Neo and some of these other what's the other one, Lords of the Fallen or whatever, like all this dumb shit that's just a ripoff. And I know Neo is good, but
Yeah.
it is
No, I get what you're saying.
it is what it is. But I just feel like that the game had such staying power, and it was a third party game that sold incredibly well. That it's a new IP. It doesn't have name recognition. There was marketing, but there wasn't any commercials with fucking LeBron James in it.
That's true. And who, Ben Stiller?
Yeah, Ben Stiller and John Travolta. Those commercials are actually really funny, but
They are good. It is good marketing, right? I did enjoy it.
But they've sold this game for February, right? January, February?
Yeah.
They've sold this game all year and it's never been on sale. And they've managed to sell, it's a crazy amount of copies. I don't know exactly how many, but let me see the last time Elden Ring sales.
I think you're onto something though while you look that up. As far as like
17.5 million units.
That's a large amount.
Yeah.
That is
it sold 12 million in 2 weeks. So
that's wild.
Yeah. For a game that is not like, those games are not accessible. Like
no,
that's why the fans like them.
And even when you say Elden Ring is accessible, that is very big air quotes, because there's still the challenge there. It's just the way the game is, as opposed to your other Demon Souls, Bloodborne, Dark Souls games, is because it's more open, because of just the design of the game.
Right.
You can definitely take things more at your own pace instead of being more linear to where you have to go next and how to unlock things. Like you're being forced down corridors, as with Elden Ring. I mean, you can run straight to the first main boss, straight to you can go do whatever or take your time. So, I mean, the combat I wouldn't say is any more accessible. Just the game design is a little bit more accessible. So you have that. So maybe that broadens it to an audience of like, man, I really like the aesthetics of Dark Souls and the lore, and I love it. But man, I'm just not there. Okay, maybe you could pick up Elden Ring, still have fun with it, and still make progress, and get that satisfaction out of it without getting your dick knocked in the dirt constantly.
And I think I don't know how far with Ragnarok you are. I am, based on like feel and some other factors, but I feel like I'm about halfway through.
Okay.
And this doesn't feel like a huge step forward.
It feels more like polish, right?
Yeah.
And to me, it does. You take, God of War.
It does, but do you know what else it feels like?
What's that?
It feels like a PS4 game.
No.
Because if I have to shimmy through one more goddamn wall, and we all know that developers use those as loading points or, choke points, whatever, but it just doesn't feel like the next step, even the way that Horizon did from Zero Dawn to Forbidden West. And I love the game. I love the mechanics. The fighting's awesome. I'm really into the story, but it just feels like it just doesn't feel like the next step in the same way even God of War 3 was to God of War 2 in the original trilogy. And that was a PS2 to a PS3.
Right.
And so, and there's a lot that can be said about this game was probably going to be a PS4 game. And then there was, obviously COVID delays, there's a recession, Chris Judge had double hip replacement, whatever, and things got pushed and pushed and pushed. But I think that this game would have hit harder if it was an actual launch window game instead of 2 years later on the PS5, because to me, it just still feels like a PS4 game in a lot of ways. And the difficulty is just not there. And the problem that I have with Sony first party games is, and I know you're not a trophy guy, but they're too easy to platinum.
Yeah.
And there's no difficulty requirements. There hasn't been a difficulty requirement in a first party game that I am aware of since Uncharted Lost Legacy.
Oh
Where
wow.
you have to beat it on crushing, and then it, but like literally with enough practice and just like dialing the accessibility options down and the difficulty down, my 7-year-old could be God of War.
Right.
And I want.
But is that necessarily a knock to have that available? Because
I
will say that
in this
God of War
discussion it
has
is.
God of War has insane accessibility options.
It does.
And I
I
actually
think
commend
that is a direction that all Sony first party games are going.
Yes.
But I think in this particular 1v1 conversation, it is a factor because the Souls games are unrelenting in the way that they're designed, and I hate the term, but they force you to get good.
Yeah.
Right. And the fact that so many people who were outside of this hardcore circle of Souls game fans wanted to buy in and check this out, I think that deserves recognition of Game of the Year.
Because I mean, I agree with that. I agree with that because Elden Ring is still really effing hard. Like it is still a very hard game, but yet you have this huge audience now of people picking it up and playing it, knowing that they're going to get their ass whooped, without a doubt. So,
and there's still people like making headlines, almost a year later with this game of, streamer. Well, there was the whole like, let me solo her streamer. And then, the speed run things where it was like, just,
I've watched all that
down and down and down. And then
the guy you can check it out on Twitch. I mean, it's kind of crazy. The no hit runs and the
no hit runs.
Which is great. Shout out to Happy Hob on Twitch. Great
is
guy.
is that the guy who did the 100% no?
I don't know. I saw the article. I didn't read the article though.
Okay.
He does what's called the God Run. He no hits every single
boss
Souls game. No, every single Souls game.
Oh wow!
In a row, and he's done it already.
Wow.
And I think he did it without Elden Ring. It was before Elden Ring came out, but he's done it twice, and this is like the third time or so. Whatever. He's insane. Yeah. He's very good. Give him a follow. But the thing with God of War Ragnarok, is I love it. Like I hate even saying this because it's not necessarily a knock towards the game, but it's been done before. Like this is, and I guess you could say the same for Elden Ring, but it's like you take that Dark Souls formula and you just expand it, like, and you just blow it up. And I guess technically bare bones, it is still a Dark Souls game as far as the mechanics, the leveling, how gear works, how the story's told, all that stuff is still there. But it's like, take all that and throw it in this huge open world setting where you can kind of do whatever. And it really mixes it up. As far as God of War is concerned, it's the same. Like you take the 2018 God of War, and you go right into this one, you almost wouldn't miss a beat. As far as it's the same setting, it's the same kind of linearness of it. And
you and I will play, like, the difference between these two games is that, and I don't think that this is a knock against linear games versus open world games versus, and I know some of the other Souls games are kind of like 3D Metroidvanias in some ways, but there's just not as much. Like, you and I at the end of the day are going to play the same God of War game. You know what I mean? I might favor the axe and you might favor the Blaze of Chaos. I might take all the time to do all the side quests as I go, whereas you may just mainline the story and then clean up afterwards, or not even clean up afterwards. But at the end of the day, it's going to be the same.
I always clean up afterwards.
No, that's good to know. It's going to be the same game. But not only can you and I play a different Elden Ring, but you can play a different Elden Ring basically an infinite amount of times.
Yeah.
And I think that says something. And like I said, it's not a knock against linear games, because a lot of my favorite games, Uncharted, The Last of Us, God of War, hell, even like older games like Mario and shit, like those are linear games. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's definitely not a knock to that. Linear games are great. I don't want to get that narrative out there. I love linear games when they're done well. And God of War is a great game. Yeah, it's a great linear game. Like, I love it. But
it's not really a knock against. It's like me saying Elden Ring's not a knock against God of War. It's just that I think that in this year, like that's the game.
Yeah.
Like that's the game that this year is going to be remembered for.
Yeah.
You know what I
And I
mean?
mean,
'Cause
Elden Ring has infinite replayability as well.
Right.
If you enjoy Elden Ring, you can replay it
Yeah.
as many times as you want.
2018, what was the game of the year? Do you remember? It was God of War. What's the game that everybody remembers from that year? Red Dead Redemption 2.
Red Dead Redemption. Yeah.
Yep. And that's what, you know, again, that is the debate of the VGAs in general, but it is what it is, I guess.
Yeah, but I agree with you. I feel like it has to be Elden Ring.
Some predictions for what will pop up as far as potential announcements, anything like that, game announcements.
I think we will get a new, I'm going to say feature length, whatever that means for trailers, like not a teaser, an actual trailer for the new Zelda game.
I debated putting that on. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like Jeff Keighley's getting real elbow rubby with people at Nintendo. So I would not be surprised to see that.
I'm going to tell you, I have 3.
Okay.
Down. I think that's a good one. I did almost write that down. I'm going to give them to you in the order of, I think, least likely to most likely. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I think that we're going to see factions for the first time.
Really?
Like I said, the original Last of Us was revealed and debuted at the VGAs, and this thing has been, I mean, 2020 was The Last of Us Part 2, and we've been sitting here and it's almost 2023. So I think that now's the time. Plus, God of War's out, and we really don't know what's coming. And so I think that this is a good way to, at this time, kind of with the lineage of how it was revealed in the first place, I think that this is a great place to get Neil Druckmann on stage and say, okay, you guys have been waiting for it. Here it is.
I don't think that's going to happen at all. I don't think Factions is anywhere close to being shown.
We'll see. Staying in the same lane, I think we'll get a new trailer for The Last of Us HBO show. And I think that Pedro Pascal will be there to show it off.
Ooh. Do a Keanu Reeves Cyberpunk thing for us, huh?
Kind of, yeah. Was that it? That wasn't at the VGAs, was it?
No. I think that was E3? That was E3.
Yeah.
What is your most likely thing to happen?
It's the ace in the hole because it's Jeff Keighley. I think we're going to see Kojima's next game.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, whether it's that Xbox game that he's working on or Death Stranding 2. But I think that because the other thing was like, I think Death Stranding was shown for the first time at the VGAs.
Yes.
And Kojima has a habit of showing like too much shit before the game comes out.
He can't help himself.
So he can't. And I think that Kojima's a cool guy, but I also think that there is a little bit of arrogance to him. And
he's pretentious. I love Kojima, but he's absolutely pretentious.
Pretentious bordering on narcissistic, but I think that everybody knows that him and Jeff are tight. And I think that this would be one of those things where there's going to be a lot of eyes on this. And so, okay, maybe we bring out Norman Reedus again and, whatever. But I have a sinking suspicion that it's going to be the Xbox game that he's working on.
You think so?
Yeah. Xbox needs something right now.
Yeah, they're a little bit bare coming up. So, I mean, that would be a big boon for them. Yeah. But I don't know. I really think I'm really confident in a Zelda trailer. Like, I really feel like that's going to be his big, like the show
pop
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's really it. I mean, I'm looking forward to it because Jeff really does a good job with like bringing up smaller studios and stuff. Yep. I mean, he's part of the reason why No Man's Sky got so much hype they did Like
Yeah.
he was kind of one of the first ones to kind of start showing them off.
Maybe he should have backed that heat off because they lied about what the game is. And it won most anticipated game at E3 like 4 years in a row, and they just kept showing the same shit.
Hey, but now it's up for these Game Awards for best ongoing game support.
Yeah.
Sunrise, sunset.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, anything to add? Do you think there will be any like there's going to be at least one. This is another this is a layup of a prediction, but there's going to be at least one really awkward celebrity cameo where they're like, it's like you think they're there for something, like you think it's gonna be like Chris Pratt, and we're gonna get a new Mario trailer, and he's like, hey,
remember when the
Chris
guys
Pratt.
came out for the new Fast and Furious game?
Yeah,
it was some of the actors.
Yeah,
it was so terrible. And then Jeff's last show, he did this weird like thing with the Pokemon mini car. It was like an ad. It was so weird.
There's always a good bit of just cringy nonsense.
Well, just give me more of the fuck the Oscars.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's like, yeah, and then it's like, here's, the ghost of Brian Walker to talk about the Fast and Furious mobile game that's coming out.
Oh, that's
recreating.
That's awful.
Yeah,
but you're right. It would be something like that. So, as far just like kind of to put a button on this,
Gilbert Godfrey is here to talk about Battlefield.
Oh, no, God, I hope not.
I think he died, actually. That's fucked up. It's Gilbert Godfrey. Let me tell you about Battlefield 3042.
I would buy it. So out of the big three, who do you think is going to have the bigger reveal? Is it going to be a Sony game, an Xbox game, or a Nintendo?
I think it'll be Xbox.
An Xbox?
Yeah, outside of The Last of Us, Sony hasn't really played around too much with the VGAs, and Nintendo's just weird, They'll just they'll give us like a 5-minute and 32.5-second direct on the same day instead of just showing a trailer.
Right. Yeah, they were real
like,
weird.
Here's Zelda and Harvest Moon.
Yeah, and it's Harvest Moon on the moon, and then Harvest Moon in hell. And, like, God, I am so tired of life simulators.
Oh my God,
I live life enough.
But I will play the next the Chocolatier one from Concerned Ape.
Yes.
Yeah, I will play that.
I will play that. He is in my good graces, so he gets a freebie.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, I'm thinking about firing up some Stardew.
Stop.
No, I gotta finish God of War.
Stop.
You can find us on YouTube and on podcast services around
G Willikers.
G Willikers.
Yeah, we're
by
there.
Golly, it's Gilbert Godfrey, and I'm here. God rest his soul.
You need to work on that. Tell us in the comments what you think about that. That impression.
I got bronchitis. Ain't nobody got time for that.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
YouTube, BXG Productions, podcast services, BXG Podcast, social media, Instagram at BXG Productions, Twitter at BXG Productions, at Y2B at default. Is it just default? You don't even tweet. You have whatever. It doesn't even matter.
Doesn't even matter.
Twitter at Real Donald Trump, and Facebook.com. We're not on Truth Social yet.
Oh, we're getting there though. I think they're trying to verify our account, but we have to get
what's one of the new ones? It's like called Hive or something like that.
Yeah.
Is that like a Twitter alternative?
I think so. Yeah.
My internet wasn't on, and I tried to check my Twitter account, and it said like, hey, Twitter's not working. I was like, oh, thank God.
Well, I mean, the Truth Social stuff, we got to send in our NRA cards. So, I mean, it's a process. So, but we'll get on there for you people too.
Yep. Yeah, we will do that. And leave us comments, preferably kind ones or not, whatever. If you
That's
leave me
right.
ones, I delete them. So,
That's right. And then we
Fuck
cry
it.
about it afterwards. But be a
Man,
friend, tell a friend, let everybody
be a
know.
friend, tell a friend, like, subscribe, share. We surpassed 100 subs,
Ooh,
and
baby.
we are giving away. It's going to be on the regular show. So, but stay subscribed because we'll be giving away another gift card at 200 subs. That's 200 subscribers, not 200 submarine sandwiches, nuclear submarines, Suboxone pills.
It's in the amendments down below if you check the starred
Yeah, read
section.
the fine print.
Yeah.
Take care. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Have a great Thanksgiving. And remember, 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. Take care.
Yeah.